every time you see these people, they've got
A drink.
something. Yeah, even if it's like the crack of dawn doing.
Which is also not realistic.
Something.
Or at least I would hope that's not your daily ritual.
Yeah.
Is it realistic that you would always have your drink in hand every single day?
Them filming this is always, they've always had something, so.
Welcome back to A Fine Podcast with your host Amanda and
Joseph, we return to discuss another portion of Love is Blind.
yes, how excited are you to talk about episodes 5 and 6 of season 7?
They're at least a little more exciting than staring at a wall for an hour and 10 minutes straight.
Okay, yes, change of scenery because the couples are off to Mexico.
Yes, we now see them in Cabo, Mexico. Or Mexico.
Cabo San Lucas, Mexico.
The,
Official name.
I was going to say, what is it? The locals call it Cabo.
Cabo. I think that's like what all the people going on like high school trips and college trips would call it that.
I have no idea. I was just
I don't know.
trying to sound like I've been there before.
Yes.
I have
Have
not.
you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, shortened it's Cabo. Yes.
I mean, yeah, the other name would be a lot to repeat constantly.
Yeah, it would. We hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving.
Yes. Hope you enjoyed your time together. If you had relatives or family with you
Yes.
or friends. And
Or pets.
yes. And that your time was swell and
Swell.
now you're back to reality.
In the words of Eminem, back to reality.
No. Back to reality is normal. You just can't say, oop, there goes gravity.
Yeah. Welcome to December and time to celebrate the holidays now. So that's fun.
Yeah, Christmas is around the corner now.
Yeah. We're going to put up our tree and decorate soon.
Yes, I've now allowed the gates to be open now that Thanksgiving has passed. So
Okay, let's talk about when it's appropriate to play Christmas music and start thinking about Christmas and decorating for Christmas.
after Thanksgiving, 100%.
What about a little bit on Thanksgiving? It's like, oh, you've had dinner. What if you want to play some Christmas music while you're doling out dessert?
I mean, no. I think the Friday, let the floodgates open. I mean, sure, I guess maybe, I don't know. I could maybe see a gray area, but for me, no. Got to be Friday. That's when the floodgates open.
Well, in that gray area, it might be fun to test some Christmas songs.
What do you mean test them? It's the same ones you play every year.
What if there's some new ones I would like to share with you?
You have any new ones you want to test?
I do not.
Exactly.
I do not. No. But Clay Aiken actually has a new Christmas album, so maybe we could actually test that out.
Yeah.
He does.
I'll do that on Friday.
Okay. Well, sometimes I like to listen to Christmas music a little bit earlier, but I am okay with waiting to decorate until the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. It's just too... forget about Thanksgiving. It's too much focused on Christmas.
Well, I feel like they're like intertwined with each other too. Sort of.
I don't know about that.
Also,
Maybe.
how do you decorate for Thanksgiving? Yeah, I guess like fall themed stuff,
Yeah.
but that's it.
I mean, that's it. It's just fall. Christmas is not even fall. It's like winter. It's
Yeah,
It's-
that's true.
a whole different
I
type
feel
of
like
decorations.
when you enter Thanksgiving, you know the Macy's Day Parade always ends with Santa Claus at the end because he's welcoming in like Christmas. They air that parade in the morning. So it's like a little hint of Christmas, but I think it signifies Christmas is about to come. But how do you feel about Santa being represented at the Macy's Day Parade?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. That's been tradition, I guess.
I
Or I
think
don't know.
it's
Is that
fine.
new? I guess. I don't
No,
know.
I think
I don't know the history of.
it's Santa ends the parade every year.
Oh.
But I think it's to say, hey, like that was the Thanksgiving parade and in comes Christmas soon. So it's like alluding to your point about Christmas being after Thanksgiving, but it's on Thanksgiving technically, which brings me back to the point of Christmas being intertwined a little bit with Thanksgiving. So I feel like you can have hints of Christmas on Thanksgiving and that's okay. And I feel like you'd be okay with that as long as we didn't decorate November 1st like I'd really want to sometimes. Would you be okay if I played a Christmas song on Thanksgiving? Let's go back to that point. If it meant I didn't decorate on November 1st.
I mean, sure, I could tolerate a song being played first, setting up for
Tolerate. Would you enjoy it?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Well, anyway, if you listen to some Christmas music on Thanksgiving, there's a judgment-free zone. We're happy for you. Hopefully other people around you approved of it and enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean,
well, we're filming this in the past, so future selves.
Yeah.
When this comes out, it'll be after Thanksgiving. We will continue to talk about holidays and what we like to do around the holiday season into our next episode. But for this episode, we're excited to finally close the pods down. But before we do that, we got to talk about the reveals. Let's go over Ramses and Marissa first. So there's roses in the room for Marissa. Ramses proposes. They're both crying. And he doesn't ask her to stand, which she's sitting down. And then she says yes. And then we cut to the reveal. And Ramses is wearing a suit with very short pants, which I just learned is the new style now for suits. How'd you feel about his outfit? His reveal fit?
I mean, yeah. I do not keep up with fashion states, but I mean, I just know that means it's been a while for a while.
Okay, well, I must be like left in the dark because I don't know about this trend.
I mean, yeah. It's just the era of skinny suits and
skinny short suit
and very short pants. I mean, the skinny suit is all right as long as it's a little not too skinny, but I don't know, the pants being so short is a little weird. Because it's not even. I mean, traditionally you have a break, you have a half break, or you have a full break, and in the world of tailoring for men's suits, but even a no break is still like pretty much almost touching the top of the shoe, where his is like a good 6 to 10 inches above his ankle. So
yeah, it's interesting. It reminds me of like beach wear or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, nonetheless, but it is what it is.
So there's a lot of babbling back and forth to each other, and there's no re-proposal at first. And he says, oh, I totally forgot about this part. So he didn't automatically go into the, let me propose for real this time.
Yeah, right. I mean, theirs was a little more... Theirs definitely wasn't as awkward as some of the other people's interactions. Theirs seemed a little more natural. They kind of had some stuff to talk about, and it didn't feel as much tension in the air or awkwardness trying to actually have a conversation with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess he kind of got lost in the moment, and he forgot to officially do it again. So, or I don't know, maybe even the producers were like, "Hey, you forgot," and then they had to
Hey, you forgot. Probably.
kind of
You're required.
act like
Maybe you're required. I don't know.
yeah, I thought you were, but yeah, I mean, at least it was a little more natural looking. So yeah, I mean, they seemed a little bit better going into it, I would say.
Yeah. They both seemed really happy with each other.
Yeah.
So that was kind of different because it was very much apparent that they were both happy. So
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think they look definitely, for the time being, one of the
keywords.
stronger, one of the stronger couples for now. But well, at this point, as I should say,
right?
You know,
for the time
we've seen the
being.
next episode and stuff.
Yeah.
But yes,
we have seen the next episode.
You've seen it all, but
Oh.
I've at least seen one episode about past this. But anyway,
let's go into Leo and Brittany's reveal. Well, let's go into their proposals. So first, Leo wrote Brittany a poem, and she has pink flowers in her room. And he also didn't ask her to stand. She was sitting, and she said she felt weird about sitting.
yeah. Well, I think it was because they didn't want to give the illusion, I guess, that they were doing it. And actually, this kind of goes back to Ramses as well, but because they don't, I mean, I feel like with everyone else, they kind of knew it was almost happening because the way they brought it up, or they're like, "Are you standing? Or are you sitting? Can you start standing?" And doing all this stuff, like it kind of was like easy for them to just realize what was about to happen.
Yeah, and then Brittany's like, "Oh, I had no idea you were gonna do that."
Yeah, we're here. He was like, "Let me just read you something I wrote," and that could have just been something, just some lovey-dovey thing, and then that was it, and then they just continue on.
Right.
But he ends it with the proposal, so
right.
she's a little bit caught off guard, which, I mean, at least make a little bit of a effort to be a little more shocking about it than, "Hey, are you sitting? Because you need to be standing, because I'm about to tell you exactly what I'm about to do next, so there's no shock to it."
Well, that's true, because the other men did say, "I need you to stand up if you are sitting right now."
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a different way of doing things.
I think there's at least nice element of a little bit of a surprise to it at that point.
It is, but then she did say, "Oh, I felt weird about sitting during that." Ha ha ha.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's supposed to be a surprise, so unless you're just going to be standing the whole time.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. There's no good way to react behind a wall when you can't see the other person.
Right, yes. Your first problem is there's a wall in front of the two of you.
Problem.
So.
So let's get to their reveal. I wrote in capital letters, "awkward." I don't know. I just felt really awkward watching them.
Well, this was the one, right? So now that I've finally seen this, I think I do remember because, so this is my first time watching it, but I mean, when you first watched it, you showed me some TikToks of people, and I didn't, know who was who or who, but I did remember
people reenacting it.
Yeah, one being reenacted, and I'm guessing it was this one, right? Because it was like the whole awkward interaction or something where they just, you could definitely tell. I mean, he was happy and fine with things, but she was definitely very against, or just not looking forward into it at all. I think even one of the talking heads, she was like, "What did I just do?" So,
yeah, because he reproposes, and then she's leaning back from him at all times, just like this, and he then wraps his hand around her neck and like brings her neck forward, and it's like he has like a hold on her, and she's like leaning back. So I just think the leaning back part is the part that kind of gives it away. She's like, "Oh," like,
yeah, and I think there were some hugs that kind of just felt he was embracing her, but she was kind of
like a dead
trying
fish.
to hold back a little bit.
Yeah. So Leo says he loves Brittany, and she says, "Well, I don't feel ready to say that to you yet." And then Brittany says, "Well, why do you love me?" And Leo lists off a lot of reasons, genuine reasons why he loves and cares for her. And then Leo says, "What do you like about me?" And then she says, "Oh, well, this is just too much pressure here, too much pressure." And
Well, yeah, and
that was
then
it.
the one thing she said too was that, "Oh, I love that you didn't make me feel like a second choice," even though that was basically what happened.
Yeah.
But that's what she reverted to as her only thing. So
First, I thought she was being sarcastic, but I guess she genuinely meant, she said, "You were just doing what you had to do."
I don't know. I think it was just she panicked. She had nothing else to say. She just wanted to
Say
go
something.
ahead and say that. Yeah.
Which that's a huge sign as to she's not that into him if she can't think of one thing to say.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing really. Well, and then that, and then right before the reveal happened, there was a talking head of her where she said, maybe I am a bit vain. And then basically like alluding to, the the looks are quite a big
Part of
factor
it, yeah.
into her decision, which then very questioned why. What was the point of this show then? But
Yeah. Maybe she thought everybody behind the scenes would be rock stars and
yeah,
famous people, or I don't know what she thought,
yeah,
who she's used to dealing with or dating.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, you could easily tell from her
Body language that she's
yeah,
uncomfortable.
the whole thing, and even just her words that she spoke as well, flat out said. I mean, there's nothing to. So I feel bad for him because it almost been like how awkward it must have been to just her to say nothing like that.
It was almost like he didn't even notice because he was like so mesmerized by her. And he kept saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you," so many different times. And then she said, "I feel like you don't even mean it because you're saying it so much." In the interviews with Brittany, she says she's not really truly engaged after seeing him. What have I done? So a lot of doubt about the whole process after. And they do tell each other in the reveal moment, like, "Hey, if we don't go to Mexico, let's go to Miami together. That might be a fun trip. Let's go to Miami." And then we see text on the screen and it says, "Brittany and Leo were not picked to move on to Mexico and move forward. Instead, they did go on their trip to Miami that they talked about, and then they broke up a few weeks later." That's our update.
Yeah, this I was. Well, I guess because I mean, you mentioned this was like a big thing that they generally don't follow any of the people that never get matched or moved on to the next stage of this.
Yeah.
It is interesting, I guess, because it was so. I don't know. I guess there was such drama to it. I guess that they wanted to air it for that purpose of it,
But yeah, I was absolutely stunned seeing this. I thought you're going to have that much focus on the two of them and then not even move them forward. I think people were outraged seeing that because everybody connected with the two of them. They really wanted to see like what would happen when they finally got to Mexico together. And then it's like, psych, just kidding. We put so much airtime on this couple to now not even pick them moving forward.
yeah, it would have been. I don't know. I mean, the producers probably knew that this was not going to work out. I mean, I'm surprised they almost didn't create just some edge case to, like, let's just let them get on because we know it's going to not work out. There'll be all this. It'll be great television and it'll be great great viewing because they did kind of miss out on a gold mine from their perspective, at least on this.
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot of great drama to follow. But maybe it's something to the effect of, "Oh, we really don't think they're going to be successful. So we got to cut it right here."
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have a feeling a lot of these other ones are not going to be working out as well.
Yeah, which leads to the question of why did you move some of these other couples forward?
Yeah.
So bringing us into our next reveal, Nick and Hannah.
Yeah.
So they're gearing up to have their reveal. And before that, they have some interviews going back and forth. And Nick says he doesn't care about how much money his woman has or if they have a nice car, Hannah says, oh, well, the worst case scenario that could happen here is that he would be super tiny. Um, she says she thinks he works out, and her biggest fear is him not liking what he sees during the reveal.
Yeah, which I don't know, I think he was almost just trying to flip the situation to, I don't know, make her feel maybe a little bit better about the situation or something.
Yeah, but then he like alluded to himself being like a super buff big guy or so. I don't know. Or Hannah had that in her mind about him. He had a different picture of Hannah in his mind. I think the two of them walked in with a different picture of one another.
Well, they did start from the beginning, yes. I mean, I think the whole thing started on essentially a fallacy. I mean, because you've had, I mean, he mentioned, you know, oh, I played football, I'm a kicker and stuff, which I don't. There's also a whole,
Girls don't understand what kickers are.
I don't think so. Yes,
At least I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think just because you're in football doesn't mean you have to be big and
Huge.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
all the kicker does is kick. None of the kickers are very large, but then she even played. She said, "Oh, in high school, I was the one who dated the quarterback. I was the cheerleader who dated the quarterback."
right. And
Which
that
also-
image,
Right, which was not a proper image, I think. And two, if you actually did that, you probably watched some of his games. You probably saw the kicker at your high school game.
Oh,
You
that's a
probably
good-
saw
that's a new
high
point.
school probably wasn't even that big of a guy. He was probably one of the smaller out of the bunch because you just don't need to be that.
that is a new point.
Yeah.
Unless she like just totally didn't pay attention to football at all.
Or
Besides,
she just
the
lied about the whole
right.
thing. Which is more of my theory. But
Wow. Yeah. Maybe the whole thing was a
Yeah.
lie.
yeah.
Just the image she wanted to represent here.
Yeah.
So that is interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. So they have the reveal. He re-proposes. It's incredibly awkward. He says to her, way to embarrass me by being taller than me. Oh, but it's fine. I love it. I love it.
This I was very confused about because I looked at them and they're basically about the same height. I mean, he might have had like a quarter inch. But I mean, she was also in heels.
That's why I think she was taller than him. She was wearing huge heels, like, or huge
Wedges or whatever.
platforms. Yeah.
But yeah, but even when
Inches
she was
added.
wearing though, they were still about the same height. So that I don't know. And then one of the talking heads, she said, you know, I'm like a foot taller than him or something.
Which I really don't think that's true. I think I think she's purposely trying to be taller than him by wearing all these platform
yeah.
shoes. It's like a dominating thing or something.
Well, she probably wore. Yeah, I mean, they were probably like what 4 or 5 inches or something.
Yeah, they're
Probably.
pretty thick.
So that I don't know. That I didn't really understand because he is taller. It's just
Well,
yeah.
she doesn't think so because she says she never dated someone shorter than her. This is new for her to try to deal with now because Nick's shorter.
I don't know. I think these people. She's the same height with the heels, is what I don't. Unless she's wearing, I don't know, 6 to 8 inch heels or something on the regular, where then she's taller. But she's almost including these shoes as like part of her height,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is, I don't know. I guess
Not
yeah.
accurate.
Maybe if you're wearing them
That's not
every
accurate.
day, all the time, sure. I guess you could say that then. But
She says she feels like he will be emasculated by being smaller than her, which I don't know if that's all talking about tall and short. Maybe just in
I think some of that has
general.
the size.
Yeah. So
'Cause he's just a skinnier guy, and
yeah.
so
Hannah also says in an interview that he wasn't all the way truthful with how he described himself. She was picturing someone with a bigger build, around 5'11", and she doesn't know what to think. And then Nick is not truly thrilled with what he's seeing, but he's not as verbose as what Hannah is doing.
during their interaction, I think he kind of looked a little more. I don't know. I didn't really get so much of him being like a little bit standoffish or worried about her appearance. Where her seeing him, I think she was definitely more body language opposed to it. And then, like, especially at the end where they walked away, he looked back to watch her one more time. She never even looked back. And then there was this big pause there when the door shut and everything. So, I don't know. It definitely was like more. I don't know. I think he's really fine with how she looks. But I don't think she was
He
as
wasn't
comfortable with it.
thrilled with how she looks. He didn't really make any comments. He didn't really say anything.
Yeah, but his body language, I don't know, during the interaction, unless he's just faking it, but it
I think
seemed
he's a
more
fake.
natural. But yeah, it could be that.
So let's go for Garrett and Taylor. So in Mexico, they talk more. They talk about who their parents are, how they're both planners and organizers, and how they're both pretty independent people and how they're going to have to get used to having someone else in their lives. So they plan to open themselves up to each other, and things seem to be going well for them so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd say they're probably one of the strongest couples, and I mean, everything. There's really no issues or anything. They're learning how to interact with each other, and yeah, they're getting along just fine. So
Yeah, things seem to be translating well outside of the pod life for them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's really no drama or eventful things happening with them, which is how it should be.
Yes. We see that Garrett sleeps with scotch tape over his mouth at night.
Yes. Yeah.
And we see that there was a scale in their bathroom in the hotel, and Garrett pulls it out, and Taylor says, "Oh, do you want to weigh me?" And Garrett says, "Nope."
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He made a smart choice there.
Which is the correct answer. So yeah, they're getting along and things are nice. And to go into another couple that's getting along, Ashley and Tyler. So they're talking a lot about his tattoos, and Ashley asks if he'll get a tattoo about her one day of her name. And he says, "Oh, yeah." And they're talking about their insecurities. He says he's a little insecure with his body when they're going swimming, and she says he has nothing to be insecure about. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, yeah. There's that. Man, I don't know. I don't get the tattoo thing, but
he has a lot of tattoos. So, if he doesn't get one dedicated to Ashley, that would be kind of insulting at this point. So.
yeah, better hope it works out, or you're gonna have the thing where it's
You're covering it up.
stuck with it. Yeah, as you've moved on, but
I would say after the wedding, then you should get the tattoo.
yeah,
If
still,
that's your thing.
you hope.
You still hope it works out. Well, yeah, I guess
I
with
don't
this,
know. I
since
mean,
it's
this day and age, everyone's
speedy.
most of these things are failing, but but no, I mean, yeah, but regardless aside, I mean, them and Garrett and Taylor are the top two couples for sure. In my so far, I think they're the only two that would even potentially make it to the end of this. But yeah. But right now they're looking the strongest.
Something that makes them strong together, I think, is their shared faith, because they show them praying together when they wake up in the morning, and they have that in common. So
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, they don't really have any
disagreements
problems
or
or
anything.
anything. Yeah. So they're aligned on a lot of things. So
Yeah.
there isn't much room for disagreements yet. So that's good.
So let's talk about another couple, Alex and Tim. Do you think they will stand the test of time?
No. And we already see that by the end of the
By
next
the end of the
episode.
episode.
It's already in question. So.
Yes. So it starts off with her saying she couldn't fully see him at the reveal because of her poor eyesight. And we learn she doesn't really wear any correction too. Did you catch on what her eye problems were? She wore bifocals when she was younger.
I don't
Remember this
remember her.
conversation?
I remember the bifocal thing, but I don't remember her saying she struggled to see him
Yeah.
at the reveal.
Yeah, she said, I could barely see you because I have some bad eyesight. Maybe she meant when he first walked out. From
Yeah,
far
I mean,
away.
I remember the bifocal thing as like a child, which I thought was interesting. I don't think she
And now
exactly
she says
mentioned the
condition.
the problem.
But she says she just deals with bad eyesight.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Which I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I don't know what if there's maybe some issue where it's not correctable or something, but
Right. So she says she gets annoyed pretty easily and she can lose her temper really quick. And Tim says, oh, well, I rarely argue or get mad.
yeah, and he was like, if I do get heated, then I know to remove myself from the situation so that
Right.
I'm not really saying anything. Or letting emotions take over and say things I don't really want to say or things like that. So, which,
Right.
yeah, I get that.
So Tim talks about his dog, and then they start saying dog a lot, like they did in previous episodes.
Yes, especially during the reveal where and you already see, she got agitated about that. And because then, too, she mentions in Mexico, right, that she's got a shorter temper
Mm-hmm.
with things and
Yeah.
doesn't like to repeat herself and things like that. So, but then, too, with this whole dog thing that he keeps bringing up, I don't know if it's like a nervousness or if he just finds it funny, but
She's losing
really
patience.
doesn't like it at all.
Right.
And you can already see, because he keeps just agitating it on, or not agitate, but just keeps
Egging
it on. And she's getting very agitated with it. So, and it's almost even like showing that she's
Getting annoyed.
yeah, but he keeps doing it and he doesn't really recognize that. I don't know, I guess he just thinks it's like playful that she's getting frustrated, but it's like actually real that she's getting.
Yeah, I think he's annoying her and he doesn't realize how much he's doing that. So she says that she's a pretty messy person. He says he's pretty clean. So she says, "Oh yeah, well my apartment's pretty bad." So there's already like things coming up as to what's going to cause disagreements between them.
Yeah, right. Which is my whole thing at the beginning, because they just didn't. Seems like all their time with the pilots was just constantly talking about tragedies of each other.
You're
and
right. That's all they focused on.
Bonded on that, and now they're coming more into the real world and having to do things, and they're not really matching up on many things. So
Yeah.
they're already kind of butting heads on certain things. So
Yep. And then the worst thing happens. They get into a huge fight. They sleep apart for the night. And then the next morning they talk, and Alex said they got into the fight because she missed home and Tim was checking on her, and they got into a heated argument about that. And she ended up actually covering his mouth to get him to be quiet.
well, this is. I almost want to say I remember something about. I don't know. It's like as I'm watching it, some of the things you kind of mentioned are like coming into fruition. I think. Wasn't there like something about this too, where like, 'cause I guess the camera people didn't get any of this, and I guess wasn't there like this big stink about it because no one captured this, so it was just
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why she was trying to cover his mouth so he wouldn't alert the camera people to come in there and start filming it, which I really think that's why she did it, but still it's pretty rude to do that to somebody, but yeah.
Yeah, but nonetheless, they clearly had some pretty
Heated
intense
argument.
argument. But it was weird because they didn't even give anything. They just panned her the next morning, and then he comes in, and then you find out that there's this thing. So that was
Yeah, the producers missed it, so they didn't have it.
yeah. But even like the transition into it was a little.
What else are you supposed to do at that
I mean,
point?
I guess yeah. I don't know, throw a headliner like, oh, there was a big fight last night.
We
and
can see
that. Yeah, yeah,
And the producers would probably like, talk about your fight now. You guys have to meet and talk. I think maybe Tim wouldn't have even come in that room to talk if the producers probably didn't say behind the scenes, you have to talk about what happened because we didn't catch it.
yeah.
Because he says, I came into the room this morning with the intention that this would be the last time that I talked to you. Because he's like, okay, yeah, fine, I'll go address her. But I think he was like checked out at that point. And then she kind of caves a little bit and she says, oh, I'm sorry. And she says she wants him to come back. So it looks like they're sort of reconciling at the end of this.
Yeah, but right, yes, they are. And I think I don't know, it's definitely, I mean, I knew, well, not, but I mean, I didn't think they had much of a chance going into this. And since it's already showing,
it's all downhill from
I
here.
don't think, yeah, because I think it probably is. It's one of those, it sounds like one of those fights that it already went way too extreme, and not having a deep enough connection. It just, especially for his side, it's, if this is what it's going to be like, then no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So I think it went, a lot of red flags kind of showed in his mind or this was very revealing of how she may behave on a normal basis. So
yeah, which is concerning. So
yeah. So
and
yeah.
I understand, like, from her point of view, missing home, you're in this foreign environment, you're with this person that you don't know at all. Maybe she's having like a bit of a breakdown moment, just want to be left alone for a few seconds. He comes in and then she's like, just get away from me.
Yeah, but I don't even understand how that would evolve into
A
an
heated argument like
that got that intense.
Yeah, I think, I
'Cause
mean,
then there's
she had an
even
overreaction.
she did the finger thing, which I think upset. But he also mentioned that she called him some names that was not his real name. That's how he phrased it. But so
Yeah, no, the whole thing was I understand the feeling of being like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Or I don't know anybody here and I'm all alone and I can't have my phone or talk to anybody about this. And like, what the heck is going on? But the way she reacted to that was totally wrong. You could have said, oh, thanks so much for checking on me. Or
yeah, but I mean, this is your partner that you're
Right.
you're engaged to at this point.
So you have to
that
commit.
You need to confide in them if you're
Right.
upset.
That's the whole point of the
correct.
experience. So
Yes.
she's not taking
So
that
why
to
she's
heart.
lashing out on him, I don't. That's what I just.
I think it's
don't-
because she doesn't really actually like him.
Yes. Yeah.
So that must be why.
right.
So I cannot relate to that. Not
I-
giving your whole heart into this experience. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But I just don't get. Yeah. I don't know. It just, and it kind of came out of nowhere because they gave no allusion to it before. There was nothing wrong like leading
They're
up
eating
to it.
street corn.
They're at they were at that. They had the nightly event where they met with all the other couples, and everything was going fine then. And then it's just next morning, and they are on the verge of ending it. So
Yep, and that's
something
how
really
it ends.
escalated. So yeah, we're on the waiting, but yeah, I don't think they'll make it. I think they could get over this. I mean, he looks pretty adamant, like he already had his mind made up. So maybe there could be that. But if they do here, then they definitely will get in some other argument that will definitely be the final straw, because they'll quickly get in an argument again.
Yeah.
And it'll be that heated, and then it'll be game over. So maybe they might. I don't really know how I lean. I think he may end up, but I think there'll be another one, and then it'll be game over. That's my theory.
That's a good prediction.
Oh, we'll see.
All right, we'll see. So let's go to Monica and Steven, an animated couple. Uh, Steven's just like impressed with everything in the hotel. They keep like flashing, like, oh, he's, an electrician. And then he's looking around at everything in the hotel and he says, wow, these are the fanciest things I've ever seen before.
Well, yeah, I mean, because he's got this blue collar job, and then this show is providing all the finest luxuries available. So,
Which I think is bad too, because you're all like in this honeymoon phase, like, wow, everything's so great. Like, we're in fancy luxury. And what happens in the real world when you get
Well,
there with your partner?
this is my whole problem with all these shows, right? Bachelor, all of them, you name it, every single one of these,
It's
right?
not representative of the real world.
Yes, and none of these relationships will work because you're in this dream setting, right? You're in a 10-star luxury hotel where I could probably have a grand old time with someone I would totally despise. I mean, it's like a dream world in there. I mean, to make it exciting, you should put them in a broken down Motel 8 and have them live life like that and see how they get along. I mean, if they can stick it out, then yeah, they can go through whatever. But
Yeah. But no, there's a big fancy trip before they get to endure real life. So,
yeah, which is just, I mean, you're already in a phase that you're going to be willing to kind of be forgiving or sidescape some things that you probably normally wouldn't do, and then on top of that, this environment only helps that.
right.
So then, especially, yeah, if it's not going to work here, then it's definitely not going to work back in normal life when you're back to your normal day to day. So,
Right.
and that's where I'm sure a lot of these will probably crumble. But
Yeah, for sure.
nonetheless, I mean, Monica and Steven, they don't have any issues yet. I do think they will have some, but
What do you think so far about their partnership?
I mean, they seem okay. It seems a little, I don't know. It doesn't seem very strong. It seems a little brittle to me. Like, I think there could be something that will upset it.
Well, we saw like a slight argument during their time together. Steven's recapping about how the night with the couples went, and then Monica chimes in and she says,
Ugh.
well, I can't get a word in while you're talking. Will you please pause to let me get a word in? And the way she says it, you can tell it's like not the first time she's talked to him about this.
Yes, I did forget. Well, I didn't forget, but yes, this moment here, because yeah, it's like the Tim and Ashley.
Yes.
Is that or Alex? Alex, I think.
Alex, Tim and Alex, yeah.
And how she gets mad with the whole dog thing. This is where Monica kind of got in that mode
It's true.
with Steven. Like,
Her
'cause
irritation is just his over talking.
which, because it didn't even seem like, it seems like a bit of talking, but how mad she got to the reacting of it was definitely like, this is not the first time. This is
Right.
probably like the 6th time this has happened. Because she really just like went, because they were talking fine, dandy, totally fine, and then she just like cut off like
She snapped,
immediately.
yeah.
And so that seems, yeah, there's a little bit there. And I don't know, she's getting that frustrated already about something that simple.
I don't know how it's gonna
Once
work
you
out.
go back to day-to-day life, it's it's not gonna pan out.
Yeah. But for the most part, their like connection together seems good, like they like each other.
Yeah, I mean, they get along, they're dandy, but
Oh, the acupuncture scene too. Steven got acupuncture done and then Monica was sticking the needles in Steven's skin, which was
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Acupuncture is interesting. I've like been slightly interested to try it, but kind of watching it, I didn't think that was how it was going to be. But I don't know. Anyway,
They did do that together.
Yeah.
Um And then Steven just makes a bunch of weird comments too. Like he says he.
All
right. What? Well,
Steven's
Steven's just animated. Oh no, I really wasn't going to talk about that. But yeah, I completely forgot about that part. I was just going to talk about how he said he had a full Brazilian, so he's ready to go.
Yeah, that thing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steven, I don't know. Steven's like the perfect person for producers to just latch onto and make him, get him to say, he just play him like a fiddle. That's the
Yeah.
he'll say.
All the sexual comments, like
Yeah.
the producers are egging him on. So Ramses and Marissa, I don't have a lot about them, about their time in Mexico. They didn't focus on them too much, but they're getting along. We can see that they like each other as well. And that's about it for them.
Yeah, theirs, I think, is just very. Theirs is. It's not deep. It's very.
I think
light
it's surface
and
level
connection.
between the two of them. They have like an intimate connection, but I think that's about to fizzle out quick.
Exactly, yeah. It's this flame that it's like a explosion where it blew up, it's intense, it's great. And then as soon as that, once the
there's no context
dust
to
settles
it.
from the explosion, it's just done. They'll be
Yeah.
done and they'll be bored of each other
Bored,
and
that's right.
moving on. Where it's not like a slow burning flame that lasts you your whole life. So
yeah, I think they got too infatuated with like each other's looks and everything, and then
yeah,
that's it. And then they're gonna get
bored, so they'll be done instantly.
Well, speaking of done instantly, let's go to Nick and Hannah in Mexico. So there's all this weird, awkward interactions between them. First, Nick tells Hannah he wants to keep all their details private between the two of them. And then later on in the episode, he says, "Oh, feel free to share with the ladies what you want about us." So I don't know. I don't understand. It was like Nick heard other people talking about their relationships and how great they were, and then he told Hannah she was free to go talk about them.
Well, he first mentioned, right, he didn't really want to talk a whole lot because he's a real estate agent. He has a brand and reputation.
But then what? He had a few drinks and then he's like, yeah.
Probably, yes, yeah. Because especially by the get-together, you could definitely tell they were quite liquored up. So
yeah, and I can't wait to get into the get-together because it's crazy. But yeah, I guess at first we see Nick asking Hannah some weird questions too. He says, "Have you had lip injections done?" And she says, "Oh, no." And he says, "Would she be likely to get work done? Or would you be likely to get work done?" And she says, "No." And he goes, "Okay, that's good because I like natural girls." What if she said yes to that? Was it like a test? I don't understand these questions.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. They're very, very bizarre questions.
Yeah. So in an interview with Hannah, she says, things are going okay. I normally like big guys, like guys that are like 6'5", and that's just not Nick. And he's different than what I expected, but so far I'm pretty comfortable with him.
I do think it's interesting that one guy who doesn't get any airtime when he made the comment to Leo about it.
Oh,
where she
yeah.
said, she basically blocked me because I wasn't tall enough. Even she's kind of admitting at this point about that. So I don't know, just to see. He was on the right because she's really even coming out herself about that now. So
yeah,
seems to be quite a little, I'll say shallow, but very thin iced on her qualities. So
yes. So let's go to the duck riding incident. They are sitting in lounge chairs and Nick spots these ducks. How would you describe these things? What are they?
They're just like swan figurines that are big giant plastic. I mean, I don't even think they're to be played with. They're just like decorations on the beach. are in the resort area.
Right.
They're just like things to look at. Not,
So Nick wants to take a ride on them, and Hannah says, "Don't do that. You'll give me the ick if you go to ride on those ducks." And he can't help himself. He goes to ride on them and leaves Hannah behind. And then this random woman comes up to Nick, and she wants to ride the duck next to him and have a duck race. And then she looks over at Hannah and says, "Oh, don't you be jealous over there of him and I having this duck race and riding ducks together," and this whole weird interaction with ducks. What'd you think?
yeah, I mean, the whole thing was very bizarre. I mean,
They looked ridiculous on it, and the race was ridiculous.
well, yeah, because they're sitting and their knees are like almost to their like to his chest. So
Yeah.
he's like really sitting in this thing and then trying to move his legs to make the thing move. Yeah, I mean, he looks ridiculous trying to do it. The whole thing is just
Would you have
strange.
raced a duck?
No.
And would you have left your fiance behind after she said it would gross me out to see you ride that? I don't know why it's going to gross her out, but
Yeah, but I mean, nonetheless,
I mean, that's not a good sign, right? You're not trying to make your fiance happy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for him to just kind of still want to do this thing, regardless, is
And especially saying, "Oh, yeah, great," to this other woman and like spending time with her doing that.
yeah. I mean, I would. I can't imagine being in the same situation, but I mean, I wonder if some of it is just maybe I don't know, like the real estate part, and he's just outgoing, and so he just sees someone interacting with him, so he wants to interact back. But I guess too, he also I think he kind of invited her to come over and partake in this duck racing game.
Yeah, which I thought was really odd.
Which that was that where I was like, that's a little.
At that point, I probably would have gotten off the duck and would have said, "Oh, no thanks," or whatever, and would have just walked away or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could just like, oh yeah, I'm having fun riding this duck for some reason, but
Yeah, okay,
But
but
to
let's
invite-
picture if you were there actually riding the duck. I know neither one of us would even get to that point, but let's say you were there about to ride and then the lady comes up to you. Would you go, "Ha ha ha, okay," because you felt bad for the lady?
oh, I've never invited her to race like he did, but
What if she gets on and says, "Let's race"?
I'd be like, no, that's okay. I think my mother is calling me now or something. I don't know. I know. I'd probably just say my fiance is
Over there, and I'm going
calling
to
me.
go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really strange.
Yeah.
And then he comes back to sit next to Hannah, and she's like, "I told you if you did that, that I would not like that very much."
Yeah, but he doesn't really see a issue with it. So
No. And he's like, "Oh, were you jealous? Were you jealous of the lady?" So,
yeah, which was not a
not great.
great thing to say either. So yeah, no, these two either look pretty bad. So
Yeah.
I don't have high hopes for them either.
How long do you think they'll last after this?
I mean, definitely by not the end of the thing, but maybe 2 or 3 more episodes or something. Well, I don't know. I guess what they have to go to the wedding thing. There's supposed to be a wedding after this, right?
Yeah, but you don't have to go to it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say they probably don't get married.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the couples meetup. So they have a night where everybody gets to meet each other outside of the pods. All the couples come together and they have drinks together. And Nick makes a weird comment like, "Oh, I can't wait to see like what the girls look like."
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because he had all this smooth talking in the pods, but now he's pretty terrible with
pretty
his
bad.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. He like doesn't know what to, or he's saying all the wrong things.
It's like you
now,
shouldn't
so.
say that in front of your like your fiance.
Yeah. 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 I don't know.
Or
It's
why
like,
would you care if you found your true love?
right. Yeah. But yeah, now all his words are pretty bad.
So Monica says that Nick made himself seem really big in the pods, but he's kind of small in person. So this isn't isolated to Hannah.
Yeah, you have them all making comments about that. So I guess he kind of tried to misallude his identity to all the women or most of the women. So, but I don't know. I guess once again, but well, I guess no. I would say it's probably more him misleading. But I don't know unless all he said was he was a kicker, and then they just assumed that could be that. But
Yeah, I'm really wondering what the heck he said.
I would kind of guess he probably said something a little more alluding to try to paint a better picture. But
Yeah. So Hannah says that Ramses and Marissa look like twins, but they're lovers,
yeah, that was a weird comment.
which I thought, why would you say this comment out loud for your friend? That's terrible.
Yeah.
I just think it's a bad comment to say about your
Well,
friend.
it was very strange. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me.
So Steven says that Garrett looks like a lower middle class Chris Evans.
Which that I actually
Once he said that, I kind of saw it, but before
I
that,
did,
I
yeah.
didn't.
When I thought I didn't even think I feel like he did kind of remind me of somebody, but then actually when he did say Chris Evans, that actually did kind of make sense. But I mean, yeah, that one I could actually kind of understand. So like that one actually did kind of make sense to me.
Yeah. So Steven's talking and talking, and then he gets distracted while he's talking, and he says, "Dude, are those the waves?"
I don't understand what was happening in this moment.
He's like talking, and then in the background he sees the waves. He's like, "Oh!" Like he gets distracted.
Yeah, but I don't know.
He's a
I don't know
crazy
to
guy.
get that. It's like he's got, I don't know, ADHD or
Yeah.
something. It's like that off topic seemed quite extreme.
Hannah and Nick both talk separately to the group of guys and the group of girls about the duck incident that happened earlier. So that's on their mind. And Nick also opens up about a note that he found that Hannah wrote about him. And it was a list with bullets, all concerns that Hannah has with Nick that she just left out and he found in their hotel room.
Yeah, so there's these 10 things that she's written down, which I'm shocked she just left it out. But
Don't you think she did that on purpose so he would run into it and read it?
yeah, probably.
Which then why wouldn't you just talk to him about it?
Right, yeah.
But the things on this list: maturity, dedicated, delusional.
Yeah, I can kind of understand if these were written after that whole event. Maybe there is a little bit of
Yeah, 'cause she's really mad about that duck event. So
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, he's mentioning it to the guys, trying to get their take on it, and yeah, I think they're telling him basically that
it's not good.
yeah.
It's a huge red flag that she'd be writing this list about you.
Right.
And then when they get home from the event, they dig the note out of the trash can and read through it together.
Yeah, that was kind of strange. Well, because I think he ended up bringing it up to her at the event
Yeah.
about the list, and well, let's talk about it. And I think she mentioned she had already thrown it away, but then he was like, "Yeah, well, let's get it out." And
Talk about it.
which that was a little extreme. I'd almost just rather just give me the gist of what you wrote or whatever. But
Yeah, let's not painfully read every like a 10
yeah,
bulleted list about all the things you're questioning about me.
yeah,
Which, if you have that many things you're questioning, oh my gosh, why are we still in the relationship at this point? This is terrible.
yeah, yeah.
Maturity? Question mark.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of this you probably should have. Maybe you should have had better questions in the pods or something.
Yes, terrible. So we'll see what's to come of that next time. So we also see that the ladies have definitely had a lot of drinks. They're kicking in like crazy. They're asking all the men to come over so they can interview them about how much they love their woman. And that's kind of how the night ends there. So I think it was a good meetup, but then there were a lot of drinks. Being passed
Yeah,
around.
I mean, it'd be interesting. wonder what the tab was for that, but yeah, and I'm even like starting to even kind of pick up. Well, I guess actually they're kind of drinking during the pods as well, but I mean, I don't know. I guess that's one thing too. Every time you see these people, they've got
A drink,
something. Yeah, even if it's like the crack of dawn, they're doing
which is also not realistic,
something.
or at least I would hope that's not your daily ritual.
Yeah.
Is it realistic that you would always have your drink in hand every single day, every conversation you're having with somebody?
Yeah. Yeah, and on a, I don't know, but I guess actually them filming this is always, yeah, they've always had something. So I don't know. So they're, but yeah, definitely at the party, everyone kind of seemed a little loosey goosey, but
Yeah.
so it was, you know, I mean, it was fine. There's no drama. There's no crazy things, but I mean, it just, it kind of showed where everybody is currently in their
Relationship.
yeah.
And that was it for these episodes.
Yes. So our cliffhangers are Tim and Alex and Nikki D and
Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah.
And then the rest are
Oh, and well, just what's going to happen with Ramses and Marissa.
yeah, but we haven't seen anything.
No
yet.
fights.
There's nothing. There's no problems yet, but I know there was going to be something because I know just seeing how they interacted from this was just screamed that it's superficial and there's going to be something that's going to come out. I'm sure, and obviously too, I think generally almost the formula with any of these reality shows, right, is they kind of pinpoint certain people's problems in each episode, right? They don't have one episode with everybody's problems laid out. So Nikki D and Hannah and Tim and Alex were the main focuses of this one. I'm sure they'll have their own maybe next episode of their falling out. Then I'm sure there'll be one for the other one. Is there one more?
Ashley.
I don't know. Everybody
Tyler
besides Ashley and Tyler and Garrett and Taylor. I mean, they'll have. I'm sure they'll have a difference or something.
Oh, Monica and Steven.
But yes, them. Yes, I think there will definitely be focuses on the two of those, and there will probably be some minors for Garrett and Taylor and Tyler and Ashley. But I mean, nothing that's gonna break their relationship.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, we will then watch. What is that? 7 and 8.
7, 8, and 9 is next time.
We have 3.
3.
Why?
Because of the way they were released, it would make sense to just lump in 9 to that too.
Oh, and the finale is done? Or like the reunion is done?
No.
Oh.
Next time we're doing 7, 8, and 9. Then we have 10 and 11. Then we have 12, which is the finale.
Oh,
then we have the reunion.
Wow. So much more left.
Which takes us into mid-January if we do the Christmas movie reviews too.
Okay.
There's so much more left.
Yeah.
That's why we have to do 7 through 9 next time.
All right. Well, we'll see how worse this gets.
How much worse can it get? Tune in. Thank you for joining us for A Fine Podcast.
Yes, tune in next week. We will go over 7, 8, and 9, and we will find out how these couples will manage and who will fall and who will rise up to the challenge of marriage.
That's right. We can't wait to see you next week. Love is blind, or is it?
We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Wow.